What's up, guys? TheMainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always. And I don't know if I'll post this to YouTube, we'll see, but it's very interesting. Lord Aris here. Hey, thank you so much. Shababa. I'm always trying to pronounce your name, but I can't do it. I'm here with Lord Aris. Fuck, I so rarely get a chance to talk about Aris. I just want to say how impressive he is. Like, everything, sorry, I'm gonna skip that. Everything he's done for the fighting game community, his being one of the best commentators of all time. And now he is quite the inspiration. He's a hyper successful variety streamer and such a funny guy. Just, I'm really in awe of his success. So well done to Aris. And apparently it's not very often he talks about fighting games anymore. He used to do a lot of Tekken. I don't know how much he does lately. I hear he doesn't play a lot of Tekken. But now apparently there's a YouTube video where he discusses the hitbox. This controller has been cheating for 10 plus years. How is this still an argument? And I just want to say quickly that the best controllers by far are hitbox, mixbox, and keyboard. These are kind of busted. Like if you play on a regular controller, like one of these, or you're like me, you play on this, on arcade stick, traditional arcade stick, you are at a disadvantage. You just are at a disadvantage. In my opinion, this is the weakest controller. You might not think it is so. That's the case because you see all of these gods from Korea and Pakistan play on arcade sticks. But that's due to like tradition. And it's a lot of fun to play on these. But make no mistake, like this is faster. I can move my thumb a heck of a lot faster than I can move my entire hand. So in my opinion, movement is just faster on this. But nothing can match a goddamn keyboard or a hitbox or a mixbox. It is the precision due to just pressing a button and the speed, like nothing can match it. Sorry for doing a super long intro. We're going to listen to Aris, but honestly, case is closed by just mentioning keyboard Kazuya Novi. I mean, if you've ever seen him play, I posted a video on him. The best Kazuya in the world, Boa, who plays on arcade stick, he has half the speed of Novi, and Novi's on a keyboard. Novi is twice as fast as the best Kazuya in the world, who already is exceptionally fast on an arcade stick. Novi is twice as fast on a keyboard, with less experience and just, yeah, playing a keyboard. So let's listen to Aris.
Because of the whole hitbox being cheating, that shit is crazy. Dude, it's just science. You can push both buttons at the same time. An arcade stick cannot push left and right at the same time. That's it. Hello. A pad can't do that either unless there's a way to macro a direction, which I think there might be. I don't even know what the argument is. Where's the argument come in? I'm sure there's someone in the chat room who's like trying to defend that hitbox is like not cheating.
Yeah.
I wonder what their like arguments are. What do you think their arguments are? It's not even about what's harder and what's easier. That's like a bad argument. It's not about what's harder, what's easier. That's irrelevant. Harder and easier is subjective to the person. They used to say, oh, roll cancel will be impossible to do in real match. But everyone does roll cancel in their sleep. Anyone could roll cancel. Is taunt jet upper easier on a hitbox? He doesn't get the point. This guy doesn't understand. It's not about
sound is a bit low. I can hear him very loud and clear.
What's easier or what's harder. Expert level world-class player, it doesn't matter. They'll do it no matter how hard or easy it is. What matters is what is possible and what isn't. For example, a 4-frame super with Ryu, that is not possible on a stick or a pad or anything. I think the hitbox is worth it for accessibility purposes, but you gotta understand, we're not talking about in your bedroom. You should be allowed to play on whatever device you want for fun, but on a competitive level, like in a tournament, nah, dude. Yeah, you can use a cork bat, you could...
So again, yeah, in competitive play, if you go to a tournament, I think even keyboards are allowed now at certain events, but maybe they're still banned at most events. But hitbox and mixbox, you can play at pretty much any event. Hitbox has been allowed for a million years. Cross-up even is allowed that has dual sets of directional inputs. But what Aris means when he says you can press 2 buttons at once, again, you can't do that on a DualSense, a normal gaming controller, or an arcade stick. You input one direction, right? You can't do multiple at once. That you can do on a keyboard and on Mixbox and on Hitbox. And why is this such a big issue? Why does it break the game? Well, for example, there are many examples in other games, but in Tekken, for example, this will allow you to, when you block a move that forces crouch, right? Like Heihachi or Kazuya forward 4, you know, you go into a crouch and you're at a disadvantage. If you play on a controller that allows multiple directional inputs at once, you can actually now sidestep in both directions, to the background, to the foreground. It might not sound like a big deal, but this completely changes certain matchups in this game, or most of the matchups, to be honest. Because usually characters are weak to sidestep in one specific direction. Like with Kazuya, you know, you always want to step him to the left. So if I'm playing on a Mixbox, I can actually block that forward 4 and then step to the left, right? But if I play on this, and I like to play on player 2 all the time, right? I can't. I block that forward 4, and this controller doesn't allow me to step to the left on player 2. And that is why you'll see all of the top Mishimas, when they play mirror matches, they'll always want to be on player 1. Because you're actually at an advantage on player 1, playing Kazuya versus Kazuya. Because you can block that forward 4, which is one of his key attacks. And now you can step to his weak side. But if you're the player 2 Kazuya and you're in the same situation, you're forced to step into Kazuya's good side. It's like, it actually completely breaks the game. And a lot of people don't think about it. So multiple directional inputs, it's a really big deal in Tekken, and it literally allows you to do things you just can't do on these controllers. And that's not to mention the fact that it's also way more precise and much, much faster. Much faster. And so precise. I hear people pick up cross-up or hitbox, and they can do like omens and perfect electrics after 20 minutes. That is not the case on this, on our arcade stick. And again, I can't stress enough how the best Kazuya in the world gets completely obliterated in terms of execution speed by what? 15-year-old kid who hasn't been playing for that long, who's playing on keyboard, who moves twice as fast as the best Kazuya in the world, who plays on arcade stick. I just don't... Do we have to make it any clearer than that? I think that kind of, you know.
Do fucking steroids, so what? But the moment you start competing with people that don't or can't, then it's over. You're talking about something different. Let's say you're playing in a fight, a 2D fighting game, right? And every step you take matters. Being able to walk forward and instantly block with a hitbox with 2 directions is, I heard Tokido mention this, it is so fucking cheap having that advantage. Yeah. That advantage in itself is absurd.
On an arcade stick, right, you have to hold forward or tap forward, you know, to forward dash. And then your entire hand has to, you know, go to the opposite side to hold back. But if you play on those other controllers, you always have a finger on forward and a finger on back. Not a single frame wasted.
Being able to walk forward and then instantly block. Walk forward, inch forward, block. That is an unfair advantage right there. It really is similar to a corked bat. A corked bat is banned because it allows someone who is an expert at hitting home runs to...
Oh, charge characters. Oh, so you can actually do forward inputs and hold back at the same time, and it actually registers as a charge?
To hit them even further. But it doesn't mean that if you give Rip a corked bat, hey, hit a home run, he's not going to be able to do it.
That works.
You know, it's not a miracle
That's super dumb.
But what it does do is it takes
super dumb.
Someone who's an expert...
Well, so you can forward dash while charging.
and elevates them to a level that really the game is just not designed that way.
Of course it's using steroids. I mean, that's basically the analogy it's making. That's the equivalent. You go to a bodybuilding competition, everyone's natty, you show up with your hitbox. Yeah, you're basically...
Even shooting a sonic boom. Let me give you an example.
It's basically
boom,
steroids.
You have to charge back, right? Then
that's what I felt when I played against Novi. I mean, I have good execution with Kazuya. Like, I have good execution. I've been practicing that execution for, what, 20 years? And then this guy shows up, and it's like, I just see from the way he moves, I'm like, no matter how many years I put into this, I will never, ever be able to move like Novi. It is impossible. You can if you're watching now on YouTube or Twitch, you can rewatch that set on my YouTube. I'll never be able to match that. No matter how many hours I put into these controllers, I'll never be able to move like him. And neither will Boa or Ni, by the way, on arcade sticks. It is physically impossible. And it literally felt like, wow, this guy's doing roids. That's what I felt when I was facing him. It's like, I'll never be able to do that.
Push forward plus a punch button and then return back. You got to go from back to forward to back, right? Think about a stick's travel time. You're charging back, it goes forward, has to go back. Being able to hit both buttons at the same time, you are charging your next sonic boom faster than the guy who's using a stick. And it's math. It's not opinion. It's not, oh, this is harder to do on hitbox. This is easier to do. This is not opinion. This is science. You know? This is science.
But I mean, even Super Akuma, I asked him about this, and he said straight up, yeah, I'm playing at an advantage, playing hitbox. He was very straightforward about it. Yeah, it's an advantage. It's a better, stronger controller. I think people who disagree with Aris here are people who are in denial. And of course, this is an ego thing. Like, no one wants to say, my life is easier. Oh, I main Marduk. No, he's not cheap. He doesn't give me free wins. He's just as hard as everyone else. It's like, you know, it takes a big person to say, yeah, Marduk's pretty bullshit. He gives me free wins sometimes. I agree. Hey, you know what? Hitbox, yeah, it's pretty busted. I agree. Takes a big person to do that. Most people are gonna feel a bit offended. If their ego's gonna take a hit, so they're gonna say, no, I've won a lot using hitbox. And it's not the hitbox, you know. It's that's got nothing to do with it. You know, they don't want to diminish their own effort, obviously.
You're hitting both commands at the same time. And if I were you, I would make it so that, let's say I'm a Guile player, I would make it so that these buttons don't cancel each other out. I would double cheat. I would cork my corked bat, because who the fuck is gonna police that? You can cheat like crazy with a hitbox. I mean, you could cheat like crazy. Who's gonna fucking police that? You think Pokimane is gonna be like, hey, Migo, let me see inside that hitbox to make sure that your left and right are not being pushed at the same time? Yeah, sure. Come on, man.
She'll find my cocaine stash inside my hitbox.
Man up and cheat like a man and fucking do it the right way. All the way. And they do. I'm saying that shit right now, but they do. You know these people do that. Why wouldn't they? If you argue that hitbox player can walk block faster / easier, the same argument goes to parries than input move situation. Listen, dude, like I said, if I was interested in debating with a dumb fucking moron like you, I would have been reading everything that every blue name has to say, man.
This is the Aris I've heard about.
I'm being honest,
the legend.
Dude, I'm not even making fun.
Who got banned? Did someone get banned?
Dude, you don't know what you're talking about. You're allowed. There's nothing stopping you.
Honestly, how quick do his mods shoot? I mean, mines are pretty fast, but I hear Aris, it's like, you don't even see the hand. It's like, and they just drop dead mid question to Aris. Hey, Aris, how about? And they just drop.
From, you know, participating. There's no reason why you can't have your opinion. You might get shot in here for it, but you don't know what you're fucking talking about. I might get shot. To you again, okay? It's a single input. which is possible on all devices. Just because it's faster on a hitbox does not make it unfair physically. It's just faster. I mean, a PlayStation pad, has less travel distance from neutral to left than an arcade stick does. Obviously, look at the fucking size of this clown device.
Well, I mean, I think Aris and me are like completely in agreement. I mean, he's just echoing all the opinions I've had. Yeah, arcade stick is the slowest controller. The only thing I would say that's a plus with an arcade stick is that doing circles all the time, you know, playing Geese or 2D or Electrics, it might be a bit slower, I feel, but it doesn't hurt as much as just, I remember when I played on these, like Street Fighter in the 90s, constantly doing Hadoukens and stuff. My thumb would fucking wear out. I would get blisters. So that's one thing I don't miss with this shit. The blisters. But yeah, it's true that this is faster. Your thumb is way faster than moving your entire fucking wrist and hand.
This ancient relic of a device obviously has more.
Yeah, ancient relic. It's cultural. It's tradition. Play an arcade stick. I think in 10 years' time, I think most people are going to be on hitbox and the modern controllers. Arcade sticks are going to die out, just like arcades themselves, I think.
More physical travel distance from neutral to forward, obviously. But it doesn't mean that it's cheating. What is cheating, however, is doing something impossible with this device, which is holding two directions at the same time.
Honestly, I think that's where like the debate ends. It's just like you can input two directions at once. That's game breaking in the Tekken engine. It seems game breaking in Street Fighter as well, especially for charge characters. And then the fact that you are literally twice as fast and precise as someone on an arcade stick or pad. I mean, I don't see this as controversial, and I think most people who are honest about this would agree. Even people using hitbox controllers would probably agree, you know, if they are objective about it. But they are allowed in tournaments. They are basically steroids, but they are allowed in tournaments. Just like the IFBB Pro, Mr. Olympia. I believe the guys we see on stage at Mr. Olympia, I don't think they're natty. So we look the other way. And we do the same thing in fighting games. They might show up with steroid controllers, but they're allowed. So I don't see why this is even debated, to be honest. The controllers are allowed. If you play on one of them, that's fine. I have a Mixbox myself. Oh god, it's tangled in cords. I was gonna hold it up, but I love a Mixbox. It's so accessible. Anyone can pick it up and do well immediately. I love that controller. Is it a bit busted? Yeah. I don't even see how this is a debate. But yeah, I think we're gonna leave it there. I think Aris is gonna reiterate those points, but it's cool to see that Aris and me, I don't talk to him, but like we have the exact same opinions here. Exact same opinions. So yeah, really cool video by Aris. So cool to hear him talk about fighting games. I hope he does more of that, especially when Tekken 8 drops. I'm sure he's gonna play that game a lot. But good shit. And congrats again to Aris, like monumental success. He's done so well, and it's really inspiring to see.